Okay, that turned out to be a lot better of a little segment than I thought it was going to turn out to. I think we all assumed that eventually we're going to have an episode where Mine has to, set Wilfried straight in the fact that her life isn't great, that she does have a lot of struggles, she does go through a lot of stuff, she has a lot of responsibilities laying on her. He just assumes that, oh, you just screw around, you don't do your studies, you get to see dad all the time, it's no fair, no fair. We knew that eventually she's going to have to be like, okay, kid, let's get this straightened out. Here, this is what I'm doing. And I kind of figured it would, come in the form of him sort of having to live in her shoes for a little bit. And it kind of implied that with the last episode at the very end there. The title for this episode gave it away. It was like Wilfried, the day being a high priest or whatever. So he was going to eventually have to sit in that role and go through what she goes through. But I didn't expect it to turn into like this bigger matter about like the future of the kingdom. Like it's through her process of trying to serve this truth pie to him that suddenly we realized that like, oh God, this is not good. Like everybody's going, no, he cannot be the next Archduke. Like he's like the candidate for the succession, and like it's already been approved that he's going to be the one. Like there's no competition. He's not ready. The commenters are laughing at him because he can't read. We're like, everybody in the orphanage can read. Well, except for Dirk. But he's an infant, so it makes sense why he can't. He's getting close, though, so you're kind of in trouble. But no, I like how it kind of just uncovers this bigger issue with everything and getting like further into it, the idea that the later part where Ferdinand gets upset, it kind of makes sense. Like this is, again, going back to like what we kind of talked about before with things like, the orphanage kids, them having to, do work in order to put food on their table when they shouldn't have to. It's just that unfortunate realities of the world. This is the same situation. It's like that unfortunate reality for people that are, in line to some sort of leadership role, the throne, basically. In this situation, the Archduke. This idea that these individuals don't have childhoods because they're kind of forced to have to be molded very quickly. Something can happen to Sylvester, and so he needs to shape up. Yes, there's advisors and whatnot that will help them if they get pushed up there too quickly. But in this situation, this kid's not doing good. For his age, he can't even read. He can't even write simple alphabet. Like this kid is doing nothing and he knows nothing of the world. And so it's this unfortunate reality that he needs to shape up. But like that later part, I think like with Ferdinand, he's sort of like the extreme side. And it seems like there's a lot of like deep-rooted problems with this. He's like the extreme side where he's like, I will not allow you to have this position as you are now. And it makes sense. It honestly makes sense because what it's sort of painting Wilfried as being is that while he's childish, he's still young, he's immature, understand that. But it's an unfortunate reality of his position that he can't be that way. And if he grows up and continues to be the way that he is and doesn't shape up eventually, very quickly here soon, honestly, because of his age, he's going to be a leader, he's going to be an Archduke that will be selfish. And he will have everything given to him. He will never, fulfill his duties. His kingdom will fall. Everybody under him will suffer unless he shapes up. And that's what Ferdinand sees. It kind of gets a little bit into like the past with Ferdinand and Sylvester and how he was so close to being the same. I do like that kind of insight, and it kind of implied that Sylvester was just kind of was a goofball. He was an absolute goofball. He kept running around. That's like Reinhardt was saying that, yes, he used to run around all the time, and it drove me crazy. But it implies that the moment that Ferdinand showed up, Sylvester shaped up. So unlike, with Wilfried, he doesn't have that. It's now obviously Mine. Mine is going to be the Ferdinand to Wilfried. And rather, well, not really. Sort of in a way. The moment that Mine shows up, now Wilfried's going to shape up. It's the same for Sylvester. Sylvester was running around all the time. Ferdinand shows up, he shapes up. But I like how it gets into a little bit into Sylvester. When he shows up, he gets corrected. He wants to show off to Ferdinand. That's what it kind of implies there. But it also implies the fact that his mother didn't like Ferdinand. And that sort of gets into like a deeper issue that I think they'll probably get into eventually. Apparently, the grandmother of them, Wilfried and Rosamine, doesn't like Ferdinand. Doesn't like him. And that seemed to have shaped how the raising of Wilfried worked out. I'm not entirely sure because it didn't really get into details of it, but it implies that at some point, Sylvester gave the raising of Wilfried up to his mother. And that seems to have caused all the problems up to this point. Well, additionally, the fact that Sylvester decided, based on the fact that he didn't like competing with his sister for that position, didn't like how that all turned out, kind of caused a lot of problems. He didn't want the same thing to happen to his children, so he's already decided that Wilfried is going to be the next one up. So the competition's gone. So Wilfried's already in a position of power right now. He gets everything he wants. Nobody's going to tell him no. And there's a lack of desire to push him because he's already got position. There's no competition. He has the position already. He has all the power he needs. He doesn't need to do anything. It's all given to him already. So that's what kind of created all this. But I like to see how, like, now that everybody's kind of stepping up and saying, okay, this kid's in trouble, what the hell? The mom steps up finally and says, is this the results of you having me give up the rights to raise my child to your mom? That your mom let him screw around like this? I'm wondering when we're getting to the mom. I have a feeling that we're going to have to get into the mom here soon, because this is probably going to start up something. Because all signs seem to be pointing to the fact that this grandmother screwed up. That she didn't do what she was supposed to do. And she's probably not going to like, especially what Ferdinand did right here. This whole scene right here, this meeting right here, seemed to imply that Ferdinand came walking in here and said, get that kid straightened out or I'm going to get him crushed. I'm not going to allow this boy to be the next Archduke. I will not pledge allegiance to him, which he should already. He really should. I think the boldness of Ferdinand in this episode was crazy. I think the boldness of everybody in this episode was crazy in general, but I think there is sort of this element of people are more afraid of Ferdinand than the next Archduke. Like, they're more afraid that Ferdinand might murder them than Wilfried will have their head removed. It's like even Fran. I mean, I understand Fran, because Fran is devoted to mine. Like, absolutely devoted to her. And so he's willing to step up there and let his head fall off his shoulders if it means fulfilling what she wants. So he's willing to say, I'm not going to give you dinner. She said to do this, I'm going to do this. Ferdinand, they said to do this, I'm going to do this. Everybody, crazy enough, were willing to kind of step forward and say, no, we're not going to do what you want us to do. But I am the successor. I am the next Archduke. You should have to do what I say. No. You know, Ferdinand said this. Rosamund said this. We're going to do this. The bravery of all these individuals this episode is truly, truly awe-inspiring, I have to say. But from Mine's perspective, I do like sort of her decisions on everything here. Obviously, she wants to help out Wilfried. It kind of implies, typical, like with the whole orphanage, that it'll leave a bad taste in her mouth. Like, she has to give it some weird excuse that she has to do this. And with, like, the children, it was like, yeah, but I want to be able to do all my reading, and they're going to cause distractions because they're all having problems over here. So I'll help out the orphanage, and then I can get back to my reading. And she never does. And then, like, with this situation right here, she's like, well, it's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth if, you know, Wilfried has troubles in the future. Plus, I think this is more kind of heartwarming. She also wants to do this for Wilfried because if it all plays out like she wants, then control of the raising of Wilfried will go back to Florencia, which, of course, is Wilfried's mother. It would be taken away from the grandmother and given back to the mother. That should be how it is. And so mine right there is literally like, you know, rubbing her hands together like, yeah, misses her mother. Mine right here is like, I wish I can go back to my mom. I want to make sure this kid gets back to his mom. So it was a cute little moment there. But yeah, Ferdinand this entire time, I think, again, was great. Him, the entire episode was just, he's done with it. Absolutely done with it. And it does seem more show in the idea that he apparently was willing to allow Wilfried to be the way that he was, because he's obviously met Wilfried before and has probably seen that Wilfried is sort of reckless and running around and, you know, dodging his duties. But it seems to imply that, you know, Ferdinand was giving it some time because he felt that eventually Wilfried would shape up just like Sylvester did. Sylvester said that, oh, it's fine. He'll eventually shape up just like I did. But Ferdinand himself, seeing that nothing has changed and that it's much worse than he originally thought, that's what scares him. The fact that, again, that they all find out Wilfried can't read, he can't write the basic alphabet, he doesn't know numbers, he doesn't even know how to play the instrument. He literally knows nothing. This kid has literally just avoided everything. That sets off Ferdinand. That's why I like seeing how, like, stern he is this entire episode. It's like, no. Sit down and listen to what they tell you. Your role right now is to sit there and listen to them, which is going to be the role of the Archduke. Right there, when mine is supposed to be on her daily, sitting there and listening to the reports of all of her staff, that's what the Archduke will eventually do. That's what Sylvester does. So if you can't sit there for this entire time, we're screwed. That's the easiest task that you're going to have to do when you become Archduke. If you can't do that, that's great. Like, he's in there holding him down. Wilfried calls out to his guy, stop him, stop it. The guy's like, nope. The guy takes one look at Ferdinand. Ferdinand's like, what? Nope. Like, even later on when he's like, Veronica's not here, which is the grandmother's name. Veronica's not here. And they're just like, oh, yeah. I can't do what I want to do right here. I can't. She would be more than happy to tell us and tell Ferdinand to step away, but she's not here. I can't do anything in the castle because I'm sure that your grandmother will come save you. But here, this is my playground. This is my battlefield. You're going to do what I say. But yeah, Ferdinand the entire time, he's rough and he's very mean. Like, this is, again, the way that he treats his child is horrible, but at the same time, he sees the future of the kingdom right here, and it's not good. It's kind of the extremes, obviously, because I think Wilfried is so far the extreme in a bad direction that it sort of needs a very strong course correction to get back to at least a happy medium right now, which is what they kind of have in the end. It's like, okay, get good before this whole festival and this ceremony, otherwise you're going to lose your spot. So shape up. This is not asking much of you. Just get these basic things down, and we'll let you keep going. But again, like his very pointed words in this entire thing is very strong. The fact that, oh my gosh, you're getting beat by children in this game because you don't even know how to read. The commoners in this building know how to read and you don't. You're getting showed up. Like, Dirk probably can read better than you over there as a little infant. And then like the following part, just like tying him down to sit him in the chair. You should tie down this kid so he can freaking do his job. It was crazy. Like, again, the boldness of Ferdinand, but completely expected because, again, this is somebody that kind of puts the nation first. And again, I think that's what everybody sees. That's what Sylvester sees. That's what, Florencia sees. Everybody sees sort of his very stern nature in this whole situation as being sort of for the future of this kingdom. But yeah, Wilfried in this entire episode was more from the perspective of kind of seeing, again, what Mine goes through. Putting aside, like, the fact that he's not very well taught, there is an element here of realizing just how much Mine goes through. Now, granted, we all know from Mine's perspective, she whines a lot. It's not like she accepts all these duties without any sort of upset. Like, she wants to go read. If she could, she'd go read. But I think that sort of does play in the later part where Wilfried asks Bridget, does the attendants, are they strict with her too? And Bridget's like, yes. If, every single one of these ceremonies that come up, they have all these tablets for all the prayers, and they have all these other tablets as well. Like, there's all this work that she does. If she didn't do it, it would pile up. So they are constantly setting her down and saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. So there's an element where Mine doesn't, get away with everything, and Mine would if she could. If she could, she'd be in the library all the time. It's not just her studiousness. She is studious, and it does get into the idea that she does this, she does this. Like, Fran just runs down the entire line. You don't realize that she does all these duties, and she doesn't complain. She does complain. She does all these duties, and there's not really much room for complaining. But it was, again, a kind of a humbling moment for him to realize just what she kind of goes through. And I love that at the very end, she's like, I had so much fun reading in the library all day. Can we just for 3 more days? He's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I get it. It was good. And I think what they end up doing was the right thing for Wilfried. It is putting him in a different environment where he doesn't get everything he wants. He's not able to run away. He's not able to use his power to control the situation. That's what Ferdinand says. The problem with Wilfried right now is that he has the power. Again, typical, these, successors to this position, they have to compete for it, and they have people that are attending them that want to push them to get that position. And without that desire, and with him having that authority to basically have their head removed, they can't do anything. They can't tie him down. Ferdinand can, because again, he has the guts to. Technically, Ferdinand could be killed, but he's sort of given a little bit of leeway here. We'll see once Wilfried gets, the position of being Archduke, once he does take that position, if he'll have Ferdinand killed, if he'll have Fran killed. But for now, it's good. Oh yeah, I did love that whole comment that Ferdinand makes at some point about how this is all you amount to when the children that you go up against aren't told by their parents to please you. You get completely destroyed by these children when they're not told to lose against you. I love that. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I think I kind of just yapped around in circles until eventually I think I covered everything. But, oh yeah, wait, I missed the most important part. in this episode, Mine was able to get permission to be able to ride the hype beast around in the castle. It's so stupid. The thing is so stupid. Like, at some point she's in the hallway and she's like parks it and then gets out to talk to Wilfried. It's like, this is so dorky. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Again, really solid episode. Really cool perspective to take this whole situation with Wilfried. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.